In this video, I'll presume that you are familiar with setting up filters on a table. Now in this scenario, we have a status, and this is coming from our table and a multi-choice field. So these are our statuses, and obviously each record can be one of them. So I have a filter to be able to filter prospects, negotiations, working with, lost and closed. But actually, these really just fall into two categories. It's either active or it's inactive. So what I'd like to do is just to have two buttons to show active and inactive. But on a filter, I can only choose options from a field. So a way around this is to add another number field. Call it something like status score. And because it's a number field, you can put a conditional rule on it. And we can say that where the status field is equal to prospect, call that a 1. And then just work your way through logically. So negotiations is 2, working with is 3, and then I'm going to jump up a bit. So I'm going to say lost, which is my inactives, are 11, and closed are 12. So now I've got a distinct difference between active, which is less than 10, and inactive, which is greater than 10. So if I just show you the table, so here we can see that a prospect is shown as 1, 2, 3, and 11s and 12s. So if I come into that particular table, I've set up a filter menu here, and I've set the status score. If it's not blank, so it has a value, which they all will, I just mark that as showing all records. And then if my status score is lower than 10, it's active, and if it's higher than 10, it's inactive, which now just gives me a couple of buttons. So back to my live app view now, I have all records showing, and then active gives me everything that's either a prospect or working with or negotiations, and then inactive is giving me everything that's inactive, so lost or closed. So in this view, we're now obviously showing all those records. One other thing that's nice to do sometimes is to group these. If you go back into the table, click on the table, I'm just going to move that status field to the left, click on the column heading, you'll get the pop-up menu, and then I can group these records by the field's value, and I can either go ascending or descending. So on these ones I'm just going to go ascending, and as you can see here, it's now going to group these into the relevant categories. I'm appreciating that we only have a single item in each category except working with, but you can now see how this is grouped this by category. So if I then say active, it's going to show me the categories and those records within inside each, and then the same for inactive. So I hope this little tip has been of use and has helped you with your building of your applications.